Hey guys, new video here. Level today as Hollow Palm. It's a new thing. It's a new keystone that comes from a unique cluster jewel called the one with nothing. And basically, you don't wear gloves. You don't wear a main hand, an offhand, no shields, and that makes you unencumbered. And it is some of the smoothest leveling I've had. So when I was leveling, I had a lot of questions about like what I should level with because it's kind of weird setup. So I thought I walk you through what I used to level, and you don't need much. And it does feel a little bit overtuned right now because what happens is you can level as like maybe like bow, split arrow, whatever you want until level 12. And the moment you hit level 12 and you get that jewel socket or whatever level it is when you can assign the hollow palm keystone, depending on where you're on the skill tree, you're gonna start one-shotting and just really annihilating all the content. And the jumps when you put on like your Twink gear, which is pretty cheap as your second character, those are huge jumps in power as well. So on the screen in the top left, you will see like some gameplay of me. I'm just dashing. I'm using dash and second wind and stuff like that to dash around. And I am currently using, I believe I'm using Smite, but you can use anything else. You can use Conk Path. You can use Infernal Blow. You can use a lot of things. You can use Cyclone if you feel that you're fast enough. And I decided to go Gladiator for the Challenger charges because that while leveling, that's the best feeling thing ever. And so what do you start with? So obviously you're going to go with the Gold Rim here, okay? So the Gold Rim you can equip at level 1 and try to get a 40% Gold Rim if you can. That should be about 10C. Fill all your resists until you get to maps. And level 1 I decided to use a Darkness Enthroned. And keep in mind, all the gear I'm using, it's not optimal, it's not like the best, it's just what I could acquire without like too much trading. Even though I did do a bunch of trading and get some of this Twink gear. It's just like anything kind of works because like when you equip that keystone, it's just OP. So the Darkness Enthroned, and I got some 1C jewels here, a little bit of dex, a little bit of life damage if you killed recently. Same thing here, nothing too special. I went ahead and equipped 2 Black Heart Rings because they are equipable at level 1. And from level 1 to 12, what I did is I used a Silver Branch, right? You don't even need the sockets because you have a Tabula, right? Tabula is also equipable level 1. And so I put on a Silver Branch, and I was using Split Arrow with like Chance to Bleed, Onslaught, level 4, use Mirage Archer, Pierce, these kinds of things. And you just make your way very quickly to level 12. That's the most important thing. Just get to the level where you can where you can slot in the jewel on the outer sockets, and then you are good to go. Okay, for boots you can use 7 leak steps if you just want to go faster. You know, Wanderlust, you'll probably have a pair of those in your dump tabs and your unique tabs. Once again, anything really works. Okay, later on you can use like Praxis Rings if you want to do minus mana. You can use a Thief's Torment at level 30. That's very strong for the gain on hit mechanics there, and you can only use 1 ring, but it does provide a decent amount of all res and things like that. And then as for the chest, you can use Tabula all the way through. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to spend maybe a tiny bit more, let me make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see this. I'm currently using a Wild Wrap, which is like level 50 something, but this is a Prophecy version. So if the funny thing is, a 6-link Tabula is like 1 divine, right? It's the cost of just buying on the trade site. If you buy a Brisk Wrap, okay, that's like a level, is that level 6 or level 8? A 6-link of that is like maybe 19C. I think I bought mine for 19C for a 6-link, so that's nothing, right? And you equip that, and you're gonna have some bonuses to your damage. You know, a little bit of a juicier item than a tabby, with the downside that, you know, the sockets might be a little bit harder, but because the initial item is only like a little bit of dex, you can just roll 3 red on it for the attack things. And then if you get 2 green, that's fine. If you get 4 red, 2 green is fine. 5 red, 1 green would be like, I guess, like perfect early on for you to level with. But once again, sticking with tabby is totally fine. And so initially I tested out a few things. I tested out Infernal Blow, and I tested out Conk Path, and I tested out Smite. And I personally like Smite the best. It just felt like the smoothest, and I felt really no reason to change. You'll find that with any of these skills, whatever your personal preference is, all the way up to maps, you won't need to change because it's just going so fast. Just one-shotting all the stuff. It is pretty good. And here you'll see me like actually like I'm like stunning dominoes, right? It's like never really happens when I'm leveling. So very strong there. What other items did I swap into? Okay, at level 20, an Astromantes. So an Astromantes, if you want to divine it yourself, I think an Astromantes is 50C. Not too unreasonable there. A really good well-rolled one might be like an Exalt or so. But it's day 10 of the league, and hopefully if it's your second character, you might have that laying around. So get the Astromantes because it is like, I think it's like 300 something flat damage added at level 20. So I remember I put it on, right? I went from like 7,000 tooltip at like level 20 to like 17 or 18,000 tooltip. And that's just ridiculous, right? For these skills. So yeah, that is like the basic items. I swapped to a goal at like level 38 from this because it's more fun. And then really the flask, I mean, Wise Oak, right? That's gives you some resist early on. Your smite is converted damage, Infernal Blow is 50% converted damage as well. So you get a little bit of you know, maybe possibly a little bit of penetration, but mostly just for the defensive resist and stuff like that. Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline at level 16 is really great. The Silver Flask is a little bit more speed, and then Lion's Roar is also really cheap. Lion's Roar is like 20C, and that gives you a boatload more damage at level 27. Okay, I just went with like an instant life flask here, but earlier I was using 2 Quicksilvers, and that's totally fine. Let's talk about the skill tree real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller, and I'm going to put this right here so you guys can see. And now I'm going to talk about the skill tree. So what I did for the skill tree is I just went directly to the right, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I took Art of the Gladiator. And after I took Art of the Gladiator, I went like down here. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the reason for that is because I just wanted to get to this jewel socket, which I would put in Hollow Palm as fast as possible. I've since moved it over here, but that's just because I was using different cluster jewels, and it wouldn't have really mattered if I like where I had it really. So you put it right here. And then from here, all you're really doing is like, you can go for Utmost Swiftness, you can go for Ambidexterity, you can go for the Jolan's Blood, the Jewel Socket, any of this stuff, like any of this stuff over here. And then I went all the way up into Phase Acro right away. And then I took all this stuff right here. Then I took some of the stuff over here, and then I took like this. And so it doesn't really matter where you go though, because you're gonna one-shot most of the things. It's gonna be very, very smooth leveling. And then from there, I'm currently level 73. Right, I'm going to change to Champion at level 90 something for the full Impale boss skill, because this character is only going to be for like killing 5 or 6 of the bosses. And right here though, but if you had to choose, you'd obviously go Challenger charges first. Make sure you get the Blood and Sand. That's pretty good. You have to have Blood and Sand up to get the easy Challenger charges while zoning and mapping, or sorry, like when you're in the leveling zones. And then I went up here for Frenzies, and then I'll go over here, okay? But once again, I'm switching eventually to Impale Champion. So so this is just like for now, for leveling to feel a little bit speedier. These two nodes are like, I think some of those OP leveling nodes in the game. It just feels way too good. And so I usually, with the Duelist, I always level as Gladiator, no matter what I change him to later on. And from there, let's see. After this, I guess the cluster jewels. I mean, I think Impale is really strong, and this will be an Impaler. So I'm gonna go. I went the Deep Cuts. Deep Cuts is the important one. After Deep Cuts, you can go like Drive the Destruction, you get Viscous Skewering, and Passive Jewel Sockets is really strong because it gives you flexibility there. Alongside that, I mean, I'm using like a Fluid Motion. That's pretty good. Because you get Dex, and you get the Radius Strength is transformed into Dex, so every Dex is like big physical flat damage. You can look at these jewels. These jewels are like, they're like not that great. Like look at this one, and look at like these barely do anything. It's just like what I had open slots. And I didn't want to shop for jewels, so I just put in some garbage. So yeah, the bronze not even that good. Ideally. Oh my god, look at this one. This one doesn't do anything for me really. So ideally like right here maybe, or like right here, I might put in a Brutal Restraint and try to get percentage Dex. But that's like way later on. And yeah, so get a couple like good cluster jewels so that you have like good point efficiency and stuff like that, and flexibility with the jewels. And after that, it is completely up to you what you want to do. But this video is just for like the leveling segment, getting into maps. I really didn't do that many maps at all. If you look right here, I'm once again level 73, and the leveling was extremely smooth with even if you just want to like pull random uniques out of your stash to level with, as long as you have the hollow palm technique from the unique one with nothing jewel. Okay, and also I corrupted this one. I got lucky. I got the corrupted blood one, so that's pretty good. And yeah, so that's the 11 build. That's what I would use. How I'd go with the skill tree. Once again, not fully optimized, but it won't matter. I promise you, because with this jewel, the leveling is so smooth. Maybe it might be some of the smoothest leveling you've ever done, because of just how it scales as your second, possibly maybe some of your third or fourth characters. So that's the video. If you have any questions, you can ask me below. And thanks for watching my video, guys. Okay, bye guys, bye.